the other side of the table is just staring at you as she kind of like fluffs herself up to like make herself presentable and draw your attention.
Okay. Well, she has heard of Scout from reputation, so her first priority is to hold out her hand so that Scout can sniff her. And she holds steady. She's not really being, nervous about a big, large animal. And then she'll turn her head towards Akinku and bows her head. Have I heard anything about Quill?
In the same manner that you've heard of Jelixis and the others, by reputation, as being a member of the party. But other than that, you don't really have any specific detail.
Okay. So then, as Scout sniffs her hand, she looks towards Quill and bows her head in greeting. And you must be Lady Quill. It is an honor to meet you. I hope that we get along quite well, as I serve your lord. As I serve Reaver, she corrects herself.
Quill clicks her tongue a few times, looking over their new little party member for a few moments, and then just kind of nods her head politely in return.
I look at the houseboy and raise an eyebrow.
Morthel looks at Jelixis and goes, like gives a nod, like, give me a moment.
I pull out my hand crossbow.
Morthel immediately just like starts running over, like he starts scurrying over really quickly, and he just walks up to Caslin and just gives her a push.
Okay. She looks towards the half-elf and half-elf, right?
He's a full sun elf, so he's
okay.
Maybe about 1.5 feet or so taller than you.
Okay. So she looks up at the sun elf and sees that she's been pushed. She glances to the rest of the party to see if this is exactly common. She's a dwarf, so she's used to bar fights, but she doesn't want to start trouble if this is unwarranted. So for the moment, she's not going to respond except to say, excuse me, fair elf, but if you wish a seat at the bar, there are several around. This is mine.
Morthel looks over his shoulder at the drow and then back to Castle and goes, "No, that's my seat."
Reaver's just gonna like face palm, just kind of like shake his head because he would know what is about. This is basically what's going on right now.
Excuse me, son. Are you sure you really want to pick a fight with the dwarf?
I want to sneak behind him and say, "I'm teaching him how to dodge."
So Morthel looks at Thanos, and then he looks at the drow that creeps up behind Thanos, and then looks back to the castle and goes,
"But
yeah, that's my seat."
Okay, yeah, go on.
That's my seat, and he looks like he's, set on this path.
Okay, I'm gonna roll insight and see, judge if this is actually happening. So insight.
Yep, go ahead.
All right.
And I kind of
whoa.
That's a pretty good roll.
I want to point my crossbow at houseboy since she's looking straight at him. She won't be looking at me.
Yeah.
So the elf, Caslin can tell that this elf really doesn't want to do this, but he's kind of being pushed into a corner regarding it. But it looks like he's also got a layer of determination, like, I can do this. He's got a task set before him, and he's gonna do it even though he doesn't want to.
Okay.
I thought dwarves were a proud race. You're gonna let an elf walk all over you?
She turns towards the drow and says, "My Lord Jelixis, I am a knight of the Amber Hearth. I am not a street thug. If he wishes to brawl me for the seat, then he may do so at his leisure. But as the seat does not matter to me, if he wishes to sit here so much, then he certainly can." And she'll just pick up her bag from one side and move to the next seat.
Morthel looks to Jelixis he kind of shrugs his shoulders, like, I tried.
I kind of want to walk behind with, say, fine. and then walk behind Morsel while drinking my drink. And I kind of want to make it seem like a performance as I'm kind of going through this little crevice right here, but I want to nudge him and push him and make it so that he throws a punch at her.
roll, roll a Yeah, performance is a good one. So as you do this, you run into Morthel and you shove him forward, and your hand shoots out and you catch him in the back of the elbow, and his arm shoots out and smacks Castlin right across the face.
Okay. Let me just look at this.
And by this time, everybody in the bar is watching what's
Well,
going on.
unfortunately, my personality trait tells me that I have to do this. So, Caslin,
I go over to Santa and I start
Santa.
fight.
Caslin is.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You first.
He said the dwarf next to Jelixis kind of gives him a side eye and just moves over a little bit away from the drow.
Okay. Then, unless somebody else wants to do something, Caslin is going to attempt to grapple the elf and push him down onto the bar. And while she does this, well, first let's see if I get him. So, just unarmed attack.
It would be athletics check.
Oh, that's right. Athletics.
Bar
Here
fight.
we go.
In
Oh,
my
not
tavern.
that great.
Doesn't matter, because even as Mortha looks kind of shocked that his hand went out and smacked her across the face, and as he's about to go, no, Castlin grabs him by the arm and slams him into the bar.
And then with
Yes.
yep,
Go ahead.
and with the big smile, she says, "My lord, I believe that you're a little tipsy. Please have the seat that you were seeking. Let me help you up." And then she's gonna try to bodily pick him up and sit him down in the seat, kind of like a child.
So, make another athletics roll, and he's gonna try and wiggle out of this.
All right, this will work. Oof.
It'd be nice if I didn't accidentally back out of this stupid thing.
Good job, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way,
I,
we're not seeing your rolls. Yeah, you have to set the NPC stats so that we can actually see
Oh, I
it.
thought I did. I swear I did for this guy.
Yeah, I kind of wish it set that as a default, but no biggie.
Okay, so he's gonna try and wiggle out of it.
Nice.
So what was yours?
12.
Okay, so he almost gets loose, but you manage to keep him in place. And from the back of the room, this gentleman right here,
Okay.
right there, he looks like this. He's a very well-built, scarred, dark-skinned man, and he's laughing. He's slapping the table like, "Yeah, you tell that elf, you show that elf what his place."
Yeah, I walk up to the elf. I'm like, he just need. No, wait, no, never mind.
But so,
go ahead, we're gonna say.
Caslin has definitely put the elf on the stool.
Okay, well, I can't let that fly, so I'm gonna release the elf and walk over to this guy. And is anybody stopping me, by the way?
Nope.
Okay. And I will say, my lord, if you notice, this is a fortress of elves. Their place is across all sectors of society, up high and down below. But you know what happens to people who are rude and insult the guests and hosts?
He looks down at her and goes, "I was just insulting that one. That little
Then-
brat has been causing trouble all day because of what the drow tells him to do.
Oh, is that so? What kind of trouble?
Like the same stuff he's doing to you now."
House
I've
boys,
been here.
secondary threat. And I shoot a crossbow arrow at him.
you shoot a crossbow arrow at the black man.
Yeah, after giving him like a little bit of a warning so that he can try and dodge it.
All right, go ahead, make an attack roll. So, this guy is obviously a trained fighter. So as he hears the threat and the twang of the crossbow, he immediately ducks, and the arrow goes flying over his head, whizzes over the head of this dwarven chick over here, and embeds itself into the stage at the far end of the tavern.
Good
He looks-
job.
He looks over at Jalixis and goes, "Really?
Why? Next time, catch it.
Wait, did you shoot it at Morthor or did you shoot it at the black man?"
The houseboy.
Okay, that was the wrong thing.
Okay, so it hits the bar.
Okay, Morthor still
But
dodges
it would hit
but
right
hits-
here.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so Morthor still dodges the bolt. And it hits one of the casks behind the bar. And ale begins to trickle out.
You better drink that ale, boy.
He looks frantically around for a moment, and he grabs a rag and stuffs it in, and like pulls out the bolt and stuffs it in the little hole there to keep it from spilling the ale.
You're still spilling it. Put your mouth to it.
So as
Caslin-
as
good idea.
Morthor's doing that, Zurich is looking down at Caslin.
And Caslin didn't notice because she looked at the houseboy at Morthos, and then looked at Reaver with an expression that says, "Really? Is this a thing?"
Reaver just looks over at Jalixis and says, "Jalixis, enough!
Enough of what?
Enough of your shenanigans in this bar, ruining our product that we are trying to sell here."
You mean my product that I brew?
It's
Thanos
not
is
you don't brew it,
gonna-
actually. The brew that is sold here at the tavern is done by another skilled another worker.
Thanos is gonna move sort of over towards here, where the sort of in the middle of everyone. Jalixis, I'm gonna give you one final warning. If you draw a weapon in front of my family, you will not live to see the end of that day.
So apparently Jalixis just wanders off and heads upstairs. Because he went through the
Houseboy, dojo, now!
I must say, actually, I think he's going to his room to sleep.
Okay, so
in the
then-
storage room.
So Jalixis, you would have had to gone this way to get to,
Yeah,
because
because
the doorway's right here.
yeah, it's the door.
And then Morthil, having just so Thanos, you watch as Jalixis just ignores your threat, and Morthil scurries after Jalixis into the dojo, which is technically the storeroom of the tavern.
Now!
So we're gonna let you guys. That's gonna be put on pause for a second. And
Okay.
so, back in the main tavern, as you all watch the Sun Elf and the Drow walk off, everyone kind of looks around at each other like, "Did that really just happen? What?" And they end up going back to their meals or whatever they were doing. The two guards at the doorway just kind of sigh and go, they're used to this kind of shenanigans, but you can tell that it's clearly wearing on them.
I think it's wearing on everybody.
Serval moves behind the bar and goes, "Well, at least this one wasn't poisoned." And he, moves to save the. He moves to save the keg and tap it so it can be used later on.
Yes, let us be thankful that for once Jalixis didn't use a poison dart.
For once.
Just to be sure that he didn't use a poison dart, correct?
No.
Okay, good. All right, so as you guys take a moment to look around the room, you notice that you have some new faces in the tavern. First off is Zurich, the dark gentleman that Caslin had been facing off against. The three individuals at the table over here, one is a green-haired gnome, the other is a really old dwarf, and the other is a young brown-haired lad who can be no older than 16. All of them bear a emblem on their chest of their clothing that is the symbol of Thanos' family. You can obviously tell that they're attendants of some sort. Over here, Lyra Plainsinger is sitting with the dwarf, and they are currently playing a game of chess. Or rather, dragon chess, as it's called in the realms. And in the bottom right corner over here, a dark-haired woman dressed in dark leathers, who looks like this, and carries a small dagger at her side, sits with her back to the wall, drinking a small cup of wine. You would all recognize her as one of the Zentarum mages that you had captured a year past. Apparently, she has been granted leniency and refuge in the tavern and in the greaterness of Oramathora at the mercy of Lord Reaver. Of course, she is also being used for... she's also carrying her weight. She's not here on a free ride.
Who did you say that was?
Should have posted up, but it did not. Did you guys get that?
Yep.
I didn't see it.
I only have Seville's picture.
Give me a second here. Boop.
Okay, I see it now.
Alright, so that is the Zentara mage that you fought all last year. And this is... This is the dark-skinned gentleman that Caslin had been facing off against.
Okay.
Alright, so that's the setting. What do you guys do now?
I'm training the person in my dojo.
Caslin is going to walk over and look through, a grab of her things, and then she'll walk over to Reaver and say, "Reaver, where should I put my things? Or will I be stationed in the guards barracks?"
You know that the barracks definitely has a lot of room.
Yeah.
But you also have the rooms upstairs in the tavern.
As you are not an actual guard to the fort, you can actually stay in a room upstairs here in the tavern.
Very well, then I brain. Very well then, my lord. I shall stow my items and then I'll be back down for my first orders.
Very well. Reaver looks down over at the corner to the Zentarum agent. You. Show our new guest to her room, please.
So Majbrit, who is the Zentarum mage, walks up, gives a nod to Reaver, and goes, "Very well, my lord. My lady, this way." And she takes off with Caslin to show her to her quarters.
Okay. So I'm leaving the room following the mage,
Yes.
and I will I don't have much, but I'm going to stow my items here.
So I'm going to assume that they put her in one of the better rooms, Reaver.
Yes. Because
Okay,
if she
so-
has a knight, he would put her in one of the better rooms.
Alright, so here, Majbrit leads Caslin into one of the better rooms and says, "This will be your home for the time being." Going back to Jelixis and Hilwyn, what are you guys doing while that was going on outside?
I get a barrel and roll it to about right here, so that it's on the wobbly side. So, grasshopper, you lack balance, focus, and lack of sobriety. So, what is he? Is he properly drunk right now, or what?
He looks a little tipsy. He's not drunk, but he's tipsy.
I pour another cup of ale, hand it to him. One for each hand. Now, jump on top the barrel and keep your balance, and stay like that until I come back.
Morthel gives a nod, and he will attempt to hop onto the barrel
With an ale in both hands.
with an ale in both hands.
Yeah, so he's like fucking Mr. Miyagi, about to kick it, trying to keep his balance in the middle.
Right, so he doesn't get it the first time, but he doesn't fail horribly. Second time, he just stumbles and falls over. He quickly refills the mugs and keeps trying to do it. But you can tell he's going to have a hard time doing this. But then again, he's training.
Yeah,
He's
must
very-
alone, young grass hops.
He is a very young elf.
Oh, I'll walk back outside.
Back outside,
Here.
Savale, the steward, has moved behind the tavern, behind the bar, and looks toward Lord Reaver and goes, "Very well, my Lord Reaver. I see now that Lady Battlebuckle has been tended to. Shall I send word to our animal keeper that you'll be down to see her in a moment?"
Yes, go ahead and send word. We will be down there momentarily.
He gives a nod and he looks toward one of the guards. The guard gives a nod as well, and he departs from the tavern.
I suddenly burst up. Oh my god, I left that dead body on the pulley system, and I rush outside.
Oh God, for a year.
Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And
That is one smelly ass body if it's been there for a year,
Oh my
just
God.
rotting and decaying away. There's no way we would have let that stay there. It would have smelled too bad.
Maybe no one touched it because they didn't want to get any of Jalixus's poison
I come
on
back in,
them.
I come back in.
No,
Has anyone
hold on.
smelled really fast? Has anyone smelled anything bad lately? Or for a while? Not know why. Okay, never mind.
Oh my God.
Alexis, when you make your way back to the pulley system where you had strung up the body, all you see left. How did you string it up, by the way?
It was just like, against the tree trunk, like hooked up to the pulley system, like underneath the ropes with like, so it should look like a hanging pair of monastery robes with a skeleton, just like.
Yeah. So depending on how you hung it up, when you finally get to this guy, you see that the robe has just been rotted away. It's covered in like the remains of this body that had decomposed over the year, and it's missing a few limbs because things just kind of fell off. Like it's not much of a body. It's more like leftovers. And
I play around with like the skeleton. Who takes an arm? Seriously, who just takes an arm? Oh god.
it's not much of a body. It's like a quarter of a body.
Where did it go? Oh well. I clean it all up.
So is that what you mean by drawn and quartered?
That's good.
Sorry, I'm
Right,
not
so-
sorry.
Oh my god. Okay. And I come
So-
back in. Nobody panic. Nobody panic.
Lyria Plainsinger looks over at Quill and goes, Quill, come here. I have something to introduce you to.
Quill would stand up and walk over to the table.
Lyria Plainsinger takes Quill's little feathered hand and pulls her down to the seat and goes, Quill, this is Uzmaline Inglethorn. She's a merchant of the area and was looking to see if you didn't have any new maps to sell for the new region.
Quill staring at Lara like, holy fuck, what type of name is that? Like she's like kind of wide-eyed and her brows are furrowed, and then she
kind of
shakes her
leans in.
head.
She kind of leans in. It's Dwarven.
Ah. Quill scratches her beak, and then I don't know if she would have any sort of maps for the new region.
Well,
Are we talking
Quill-
about this one specifically?
Yeah. So Quill would have had over the course of the year, helping Lyria set up her shop, Quill would have made several maps. It just depends if Quill had one on her right now.
Oh,
And
no, she
my
would
new
not.
roll
Okay.
dice set that I got
Uzmaling,
finally for Critical Role.
So what do you do to tell Uzmaling that you do not have one present?
She pulled out her little notebook and scribbled exactly that,
Ooh,
saying like
so nice,
I do have
indeed.
them, they're just not with me at the moment.
Uzmaling gives a nod and goes, "Ah, very well. If you don't happen to have one that's of the new region, from Shimmergate to Ormathora, updated with what you have known and seen, I would greatly appreciate it. I will pay a fine price for it."
Quill would nod, and state on the note that she could go grab it now, if they wanted to discuss a price after.
Of course. I'll be here for the day. I will be heading to Shimmergate in the morning, but I should be back tomorrow as well.
Quill nods and then just decides to kind of sit there for
Okay.
a little bit, enjoying Lyra's company.
Lyria smiles and kind of definitely plays with Quill's feathers, fixing them properly. It's like, you've been running around again, haven't you?
Quill pulls away. Hell no. She doesn't want to touch right now. She's fine.
Lyria gives a small frown, but there's a bit of a smirk at the corner of her lips. So, with that going on, Castle, I'm just gonna drag you back down along with
Okay.
the mage. So you have been properly shown to your stuff, and you've been moved out of your armor and into your common clothing, and Majbrit has been essentially telling you about the ins and outs of the fortress, how to get up, how to get down, where to find certain things, stuff like that, while you were getting dressed, or when you were ready. And she comes back down with her and looks to Lord Reaver and goes, and she looks to Reaver and she goes, "My lord, is there anything else I can do for you?"
No, that is all for now. You may go back to whatever you were doing prior.
She nods and goes, and then about the matter of my spellbook.
You will get the spellbook back when I say you can. That is all.
She looks like she's about to say something else, but shuts her lips and then looks at Thanos, and then.
Well, Reaver
walks
would
back to
notice
her.
this and look back up and say, "Was there something you wanted to say?"
"No, my lord. Your wish is my command." And she walks
She'll-
off.
She'll find when she looked at Thanos that Caslin also gave her the stink eye, because
Yeah.
she's on the job.
She goes back to her corner and back to her mug of ale.
And anybody that looks would see that she has her armament, her flail set at her side at her belt, but in her arms, in front of her chest, she's holding a large spell book of her own.
So you guys can just hang out here at the tavern, but you guys do know that you have a task for down below, at the base of Ormathora, where the animal handler has requested your assistance.
Reaver would head down to start checking in on that right now.